Hello and welcome, my name is Doodlemachine. Today we are going to be making some HD skins for Minecraft models in Adobe Illustrator. Stick around. So for those that don't know, I run a Minecraft texture pack called Jollycraft, and you can get it at jollycraft.com. It's completely free. You can also get it from the Minecraft Marketplace if you play on Windows 10 or on a tablet or something like that, any kind of device where you can play the Bedrock edition of Minecraft. And I've been working on a super secret project. I'm not going to reveal all the details, but let's just say today we are going to be making a HD skin for one of the Minecraft mobs. One of my favorite mobs in Minecraft. We're gonna be doing the dolphin. So I wanted to kind of keep this casual. I'm not gonna make this a tutorial or any kind of formal video or anything like that. I'm just gonna work on this and we'll chat while I work. All right, so here we are in Minecraft, and I'm gonna quickly explain the process of what we're gonna be doing. It's a beautiful day in Minecraft, as you can see, with the Jollycraft texture pack. And Minecraft has these creatures, these mobs, and the mobs have a very basic skin. They're made out of blocks and there's a texture applied to the block. So for example, this is a wolf and he turned angry because there's a sheep there and he's gonna kill that sheep. And that's okay, because that's what wolves in Minecraft do. So this wolf model has a very basic kind of set of shapes, and those shapes have a texture on them. And I made that texture, that wolf there. This is a texture that I made in Photoshop, and there's kind of a mapping. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's the wolf model. This is a program called Blockbench, and this lets you kind of preview what your model is gonna look like on the Minecraft characters. You can actually open up the Minecraft models from the vanilla texture pack, and I'll link that below just in case you wanna try and follow along. So this is the wolf model, and it doesn't have any texture applied. This is how it looks in the basic version of Minecraft. And then here's the one you just saw in Minecraft with my texture applied to it. And the actual mapping of the texture is done in a way where each of the kind of sections of the cubes that make this character up are applied in a grid, and you can kind of just have a little bit of a trial and error going back and forth between your art program and the model program. And eventually you can figure out which areas are like the front of the face, the front of the nose, all that kind of thing. Once you get used to it, it becomes very intuitive, and I don't even need to think about like which, areas are which usually. So the very basic Minecraft models are done in a very pixely texture. You can see here this pixel grid is not very high definition, but you can increase the size of your pixel grid to any kind of dimensions you want. So I'm doing an HD version of a few of the Minecraft models that I've made in the past, just for fun, and also for a little super secret project that I'm not going to spoil. So here's the wolf that I made yesterday. So this is the HD version of this wolf. And if I apply that to the model, it looks like this. See that? So this is what the wolf is going to look like once I put this texture in place of the old texture in Minecraft. Looking pretty good. So today we're not going to be working on the wolf. I just wanted to show you this to kind of explain the process of how this is going to work. Today we're going to be doing one of my favorite mobs in Minecraft, the adorable, super awesome dolphin. Dolphins are one of my favorite marine creatures in real life. I've always been drawn to intelligent animals. Dolphins are one of the most intelligent animals in the world. They're also beautiful, they're also playful and fun. And we're going to be making the skin for the dolphin model today. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. When you download the vanilla resource pack, you have access to all of the models, the mob entities they call them, and you can open any of them and make your own textures and then preview them in Blockbench very easily. So today we're going to do the dolphin. Okay, and there's the basic Minecraft dolphin. Now let's get the Jollycraft dolphin, and then we're going to start making the new high definition version of that model. Okay, so here is the Jollycraft version of the dolphin. Pretty darn cute, I think. And we're going to be making the new high definition version of this in Adobe Illustrator. We're working in Illustrator because it's a vector program and it allows you to create really high definition models, any kind of resolution you want to export them in. And I haven't decided what the final resolution that I'm going to be doing all of these textures is going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be 800% of the original Minecraft. That's what I've done so far. But if I change my mind and I want it 1200%, I can easily export them at that new resolution because they are vector artwork, which can be exported at any size. So I think I'm going to just put this off to the side here so that you guys can see the model as I work on the texture for it. All right, that works pretty good. Okay, so we need to bring over the dolphin texture. Okay, I'm just going to drop in my dolphin texture, and like I said, we're going to be working at 800% of the scale, so I'm going to scale this to exactly 800%. I'm going to go transform, scale, and we're going to put 800% here. Okay, and I already have this kind of document set up for the different sizes. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to snap this to the corner of this artboard that's already the perfect size for this texture. Okay, so this is my dolphin, and this is the low-res dolphin. So we need to make a high-res version of this. So I'm just gonna zoom in here, and lock this layer, create a new layer over top, and we're gonna work right over top of this, this layer. What's important with this sort of thing is that you have snap to pixel enabled, so that way you're not creating edges that are outside of the pixel density that you're going for. Okay, so I'm just going to start by figuring out the front of his face. So I can tell over here on my model, the front of his face, this is the area on the texture that represents the front of his face. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to start by just doing a very basic skin gradient. So I'm going to put the light color that I've already put on the low-res version and the dark color, and we're just going to do a simple fade like that. This is one of the benefits to having already done the low-res version, is like lots of the decisions are kind of already made. I'm going to put the pixel version over top, and I'm going to put it at a semi-transparent opacity. Actually, first I'm going to put a small version off to the side so I can sample the colors. Okay, and then this version here, I'm going to put that at a low opacity so that I can still see what I'm working on, or see the kind of basic shape, but also I can see see the actual objects I'm working on underneath it. Okay, so let's do the kind of bottom of the mouth as well here. So it's going to kind of come in like this, and it's going to go right across, I think. Okay, and I'm going to have it come way down below the actual base of the front of his head, because I'm going to mask that. And let's give this a little gradient too. Something like that. Seems pretty good to me. Okay, so let's mask that. Okay, and we're going to just toss on some quick eyes, I think. Okay, so let's put on some eyes. Let's make them really cute. All of the mobs I've been making for my super secret project have these kind of dark retro cartoony Mickey Mouse sort of eyes, and I really like the vibe it's given off, so that's what we're gonna go with. Of course, you gotta put a little highlight in there. I'll flip that and put it over there, and let's just see how it's looking. So I'm gonna do a quick save for web and save a PNG of this. Okay, and then let's apply that texture that I just saved onto our dolphin. There it is. Okay, looking pretty good. Yeah, that's the right idea. That's what I'm going for, I think. Okay, so the process behind this is there's lots of back and forth between the vector program, between Adobe Illustrator, and the model program, which is Blockbench, and it's very tedious. You just got to accept that. Learn to love the process. It actually is quite fun when you kind of start figuring out how all this stuff works, and seeing your textures that you make in the actual game of Minecraft is kind of all the reward you're gonna get, and for me that's definitely enough. It's super fun to do, and sharing it with people is also very fun too. Okay, so let's do the top of his head. I think I'm gonna make this just one color, and we're gonna give it a little bit of a texture in the end, but for now we're gonna kind of keep things simple and just go with one color. Okay, let's give him his little blowhole. All dolphins gotta have a blowhole. That's why they call them dolphins, proven by science. Give it a little bit of a highlight and a shadow Something like that. And let's add a little bit more detail around these eyes. I think I'm gonna add like a little bit of a shadow underneath them, as if these eyes are kind of like stuck on little beads or something like that. I kind of think of my creatures when I'm working on this as like toys, almost like as if I were to make these like as toys. So obviously not realistic, but even like just the way that I make the features on them, I kind of think of them like how I would make this as a 3D model. I make the 2D version of the skin with those kind of 3D sensibilities in mind. Yeah, sort of like that. See how the eye sort of looks like it's popped up a little bit, like it's sitting on top. And we'll do the same with the other eye, obviously. Okay, that feels pretty good to me. Let's see how it looks on the model. Quick save for web. There we go. Yeah, that's the right idea. Yep, that feels perfect. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom of the chin and also the nose in the same way. The bottom of the chin is over here. Use that same color that I've already used for the bottom of his mouth. And for this, I think we're just gonna go with medium version. We're not going to do a gradient down here. I don't want to get too complicated with the gradients because his head is a separate piece from his body and I don't want to have to match those up perfectly. So we're just going to kind of keep things simple and do the same thing with his nose. Just did a quick export to make sure that the side of his mouth lines up properly, and it does. Keep going here. All right, how's that looking? Pretty good, pretty good. I like that how the dolphin kind of looks like he has like a smile. Maybe I can even accentuate that a little bit. Yeah, let's accentuate his smile just a little bit. Let's see how that looks. That's the right idea. It's a little too drastic though, so let's just soften that a little bit. There we go. That's the right idea. I like that a lot. Okay, moving along. Let's move on to the rest of his body. And the edge of his head there has to match up with the edge of his body. As you can see, if I just put the kind of white shape down here at the bottom where I already have these pixels, it wouldn't match up perfectly. So you gotta kind of keep that in mind. I'm actually gonna take the shape from his head that I've already made and just bring that over here onto his body so that it matches up perfectly already. And I think I do want to have the white shape here kind of dip down a bit to leave room for his blue fin there. So I'm going to have that come down pretty quickly, dip down, and then slowly raise towards his back. Let's see if that gets the job done. Yes, sort of like that. You see how his fin kind of tucks underneath? That's the right idea. That's what I wanted. Okay, I feel like that matches up as good as I care to spend the time on, so we're going to call that good enough. And let's finish the top of his body here and also probably the underside. And then we'll move on to the back side of this guy. And we'll see how this is looking. Okay, the shapes are looking pretty good. That's pretty much where I want it to be. All right, let's move on to the back side of his tail, this little piece over here. Okay, and I want this to kind of change color as it fades towards the back, similar to what I've done over here. See how it gets dark near the tip of his tail? I want to get a little bit of that action going on here. I'm gonna do it in a bit of a different way. I'm gonna create a semi-transparent gradient over here and put that right over top of the texture of his actual tail, because I'm gonna have to do the same thing on the sides to have it fade from top to bottom and also fade from front to back. So I'm just gonna use two semi-transparent textures. Just so you know what I mean, that's what it looks like. See, it's a gradient, but it's a gradient from full transparency to no transparency. There we go. That's the right idea. So it fades from light to dark along the length of it, but it also fades from light to dark up and down as well. It's a subtle thing. It's not super obvious, but it was something I really wanted to make sure to include. Okay, so let's finish the underside of his tail here. Okay, pretty good. Let's give it a little bit of a wiggle just to make it not so square and blocky. That's why we make an HD pack after all. Regular Minecraft is very blocky. This gives it a little more visual interest, I think. Okay, good enough. Let's do this back fin because I really want to get that done with. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do for that. I want to make it look like it's a proper dolphin's tail. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to give it a bit of a seam down the middle, make it sort of look the part like it's kind of a rounded shape, I think. So which side is the front? That's the question. Here, I'm gonna do a quick little thing here. If I do that, give it a save. Ah, okay, that's the back there. Okay, cool. So that's what I want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go like this. Give it this kind of shape and give it a blur, and then we're gonna mask it with the actual shape of the top of his tail there. Yeah, something like that. Let's see how this looks. Let me just give it a quick actual texture though. Yes, that's what I wanted. We're not gonna get too crazy with the detail on this, but I wanted to at least give it a hint of the proper kind of dolphin tail shape, top and bottom. Good. Okay, and we'll do the sides of the tail object as well. How does that look? Just like that. Yeah, that's the right idea. Okay, and let's do his fins. I think dolphin fins are just one color. The kind of color of the underside should stay underneath, and the fin should be blue. Oh, this is his, what do you call that? Dorsal fin? The fin at the top? Yeah, that's the right idea. Totally. Exactly what I wanted. And we'll do his little flippers on the side there. And we gotta figure out which direction the texture should go. I think it should go the other way if I'm not mistaken. It should actually go like this. There's a lot of trial and error with this kind of thing. Yes, I want it to be darker near his body, just like that. Good. And I'm assuming the other side should go just inversed, or reversed, I should say. Oh, I messed something up. It shouldn't be reversed. It should be maybe flipped up and down. There it is. Sides are both good. And let's just finish off. Okay, so the one on the other side, it does need to be entirely flipped. So I'm just gonna do this one chunk at a time. Flip that. Oh, yeah. Flip that. And we'll flip this. Okay, good. And we'll flip the sides. Okay, yes, this is good. This is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little more detail on the underside and maybe just kind of a lightish kind of blob on his belly, just to kind of give it a little bit of variation. And keep in mind that the front of the head is different from his body, two different objects. So if I put something that overlaps, you gotta make sure that what comes off one goes on to the other, which is okay. I'm totally okay with doing that. So let's do exactly that. Let's take a light white, put the blob going like that. Okay, good. We're gonna give this a blur to give it some soft edges, I think. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the shape of the body to mask it. Then also, I'm gonna come up here, put it at the area where it needs to match up with the bottom of his head here. And then I'm going to just change my mask so that it lines up perfectly, if all goes as planned. Oh, I messed that up. Okay, so I have the front and back mixed up. So we're gonna flip it vertically. There we go, this'll work. Boom, look at that. See how perfect that works? Flawless. Although I feel like the lightness is a little too light, so let's just change that a tiny little bit, make it a little more dark. Something like that feels good to me. Okay, this guy's almost done, but I wanted to give it a texture. As you recall, I said I was going to keep the actual content of his body plain, and I want to be able to put a texture on it just to kind of give it a little variation. And I've already made the texture that I'm going to put on top of this, so I'm just going to go grab that now. Okay, so here's the texture that I've already made, and I'm going to keep this on its own layer right there. And what's nice about this dolphin is that none of the shapes have kind of rounded or interesting edges. They're all very just squares. So this texture I can very easily line up with the edges. If the pieces had more wiggly rounded edges, I'd have to do something a little fancier with how I place the texture, but this should be pretty easy to go with. And this texture is seamless. I made sure it was seamless so that it would be easy for me to make sure that if I put, for instance, the texture on the side of his head, and then I put it on the side of his body, that like the edge of the texture lined up and it didn't look weird. So I thought ahead when I made this texture by making it seamless. Keep it subtle. We're just gonna do like maybe a 25% opacity on this, just to kind of keep things light and easy. That feels pretty good. Let's see how the texture looks on him before I get too far down this rabbit hole. Perfect. Yeah, just it adds a tiny little bit of variation. It's the kind of thing you probably never actually really even notice. I just realized my body, my face was covering up this dolphin. So I apologize for that if my silly face was blocking part of the model. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and apply this texture to the whole thing. And we're just gonna stretch the texture. It's a really subtle effect, so I'm not too fussed about making sure that, you know, it looks as good as it possibly can, because really it doesn't matter. It'll look fine, even if I do stretch the texture. It's a seamless texture, so I could plan ahead and make sure that I, you know, tiled it on his body or whatever to make sure that some sections of the texture, but like even that, you can't tell. You honestly can't, so not even gonna stress about it. Although I feel like it would look a little weird if I made the texture super tight on the lower part of his face, so I think I am gonna use a mask here. So what I'm gonna do is, yeah, I'm going to just put the texture kind of tiled like that. We're gonna mask it off with the bottom part of his head here. So I'm gonna paste this over top, and we are going to use the Unite Pathfinder tool to turn these into one shape, and then we can apply that as a mask to, oh, cannot make a clipping mask. Why not? Okay, put that in front and clipping mask. There it is. Easy enough. All right, let's continue on with the texture. Cover up the rest of his body with it. And I have the texture kind of bleeding off the bottom of this shape here. It's not going to be a problem because this stuff doesn't actually appear on the model, but just to keep things tidy, I'm going to mask this as well. There we go. And we'll finish off these fins here. With this, I am going to get a little bit lazy. I'm not going to really spend lots of time figuring out the best way to do these. I'm going to just kind of slap them on and then just mask the whole bunch of the textures with one mask. Okay, I have merged these all together into single shapes, but there's 3 of them, so instead of using each one of these to apply a separate clipping mask, I'm going to turn them into a compound path, so that way I can use the entire, the group of them as one shape, and just do one clipping mask out of the whole group, just like that. Okay, I think we're done. Let's save it and see how she looks. Bring this nice and big, and we'll take a good look here. Okay, and there's my dolphin. Pretty good. Yep, that's exactly what I was going for. I don't think I'm gonna make any changes. Sometimes I'll add little scuffs or just extra little textures, extra little details, but I kind of want this dolphin to kind of look crisp and clean and smooth, kind of cartoony, kind of like a toy. So I think we're just gonna call it right there. And I am very happy with the way she turned out. And we're gonna call it quits there. So I just made a HD skin for one of the models in Minecraft using Adobe Illustrator. I made it in vector, even though it's a pixel art program. That's one of the beauties of being able to work in vector, is you can have the vector data and then you can just save it as pixel data for when you need it. This was just kind of a quick little experiment. I didn't know how it would go recording a video and showing you. I feel like it's probably not as valuable as regular illustration tutorials, but with this kind of stuff, I use Adobe Illustrator, and there's lots of Illustrator tricks that you need to know as you work through it. So I feel like it's probably useful even if you don't even care about Minecraft in any way. So I hope it was useful. Please let me know in the comments below. Was this useful? Would you like to see more of this kind of thing? Was it at least entertaining, even if you don't even care about Minecraft in any way? And also, don't forget to check out jollycraft.com if you want to try out my Minecraft texture pack. And that brings us to the end, so please click the thumbs up button if you like the video. Click the thumbs down button if you dislike it. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. And as always, thanks for watching.